Good morning, students. Let us continue the chapter Separation of Substances. Yesterday we have done some activities to separate insoluble solids from liquids. In the first activity, which was called sedimentation, the insoluble impurities settled at the bottom of the liquid that formed the sediment. So if we have a sample of muddy water and we leave it undisturbed for some time, the heavier insoluble solid will settle at the bottom of the liquid. The next step is the decantation. So in decantation, we gently pour the liquid into another beaker without disturbing the sediments. So the sediment, which is also called the precipitate, is not disturbed and the clear liquid is poured into another container. In filtration, we pass the mixture of lighter floating particles over into the filter paper. The pores of the filter paper are so small that they allow only the water to come out, which is called the filtrate. The insoluble impurity is left behind on the filter paper, which is called the residue. So tea is filtered using a strainer. The tea leaves is the residue and the tea is the filtrate. So the process by which very fine insoluble solids can be separated by passing it through a filter paper is called filtration. Now we come to the next method in which we can separate the insoluble solid from liquids by using alum. But why is alum added to water? The process by which we can separate the floating insoluble particles from water is called loading. In loading, we use a chemical called alum. So this process just speeds up the rate of sedimentation. As you know, when we added flour and water, only some amount of flour settled down, but most of the flour was floating in water. So, in such cases where there is lot of floating particles in water, we add alum. Because of alum, the floating particles will settle down very fast, so it is a faster process than sedimentation. This is alum, which is also called aluminium sulfate. So as soon as we put the alum in muddy water, the muddy water will become clear because all the suspended particles will settle down. But why does that happen? It happens because if we have these floating impurities in water and we add alum into it, the alum is also called coagulant. The coagulant has a property of attracting all these floating impurities towards itself. The green dots are the alum, and you can see that all the impurities have got attracted towards the coagulant or the alum. In this way, the impurities become heavier, and when they become heavier, they will settle at the bottom of the beaker. So loading has increased the rate of sedimentation. So this is the comparison between the muddy water and after alum has been put inside the muddy water. So as you can see, it is becoming clearer and the sediments are settling down. Now we come to the separation techniques of separating soluble solids in water, like salt in water, sugar in water, etc. The first way is evaporation. So when the liquids can change to vapor at temperatures below the boiling point, it is called evaporation. So at boiling point, that is 100 degrees, the water will form vapors, but water can form vapors even below 100 degrees. and that is done by the process of evaporation. So liquid changing into vapors is called evaporation. So we can take some salt and water and form salt solution because salt is completely soluble in water. Now to separate the salt and water, we have to heat the water. When we heat the water, as you know, as water starts boiling, it will form water vapor. This water vapor is going to disappear into the environment, leaving behind the salt. You must have seen this phenomenon in the areas where salt is collected near the seabeds. So they keep the sea water in shallow beds and allow the water to evaporate. After a few days, the salt will come out as water will evaporate. So by evaporation, we can get back the soluble solid from water. But if we don't want to lose the water after evaporation, then we also have to do condensation. So condensation is a process in which the gaseous state will transform back into liquid. So you can see that in water cycle, as the water evaporates from sea and oceans and becomes water vapor, and as the water vapor rises up, it cools down. So that is condensation as it forms clouds. So condensation is a direct cause of precipitation by which you get rain, snow, etc. So it is the reverse of evaporation. So in condensation, the vapors form liquid, but in evaporation, the liquid changes into vapor. This is a process by which we can get back both the liquid and the solid after separation. So we have to heat the salt water. We know that only the water will form vapors and will go up. As it rises up, it strikes a cold plate because we have kept ice on it. And as you know, on cooling, the vapors will again form back into water. So by doing this method, that is evaporation and condensation, we are getting back both the solid, which will be left behind, and the liquid. You must have noticed if you take a glass of water and put ice in it, after some time there will be water droplets outside the glass. This is because there is water vapor all around this glass, and as the water vapor will strike the cold surface, on cooling, the vapor will form water droplets. The glass is not leaking, it is just that condensation is happening outside the glass.